As you can see, journalists have also made their way. It's a packed room as journalists will be hearing from Nathi Mthethwa with regards to the decisions that have been taken by the delegates.
And we highlighted areas which were areas contested in the strategies and tactics, if I may put it that way. There's nothing much coming out of the national conference as it regards to the strategy and tactics. There's a general endorsement of the strategy and tactics of the ANC, or the draft strategy and tactics. Which we have shared with all of you from the media. Safe to say that the emphasis has been made this time around, as it happened in the past, that perhaps in the strategy and tactics we need to delve deeper on the dynamics on the continent, including what has happened recently in Zimbabwe and so on, and find a way of raising it on the strategy and tactics, both from the point of view of the historical evolution of the liberation movements across the continent, particularly in the region here, and look at the phenomenon of the site of struggle, which is Parliament, the Fifth Parliament, and what is happening there. How does it affect or tilt the balance of forces in favor or against the national liberation movement? Then there was an issue about monopoly capital. I think that's one area which there was some discussion on. But the view, because you remember when we, the last time we met at the policy conference, the view of the policy conference was that the structures of the ANC should go back and reflect on this conceptual issue, which is monopoly capital, so that we have a clearer understanding on the way forward. Structures came back and people reported in different commissions. I might say that even now there is a lot of discussion from different perspectives, I must say. And the conference then says that let's do much work as the organization, especially on the different sectors of society and how they are in terms of ownership and so on. But there were strong views that the issue here is about the formulation. How do we seek to formulate this conceptual issue, which will synthesize the different emphasis on the strategy and tactics? As we said last time, that even this time there's been an expression that what the ANC should focus on is the content, which is monopoly capital, and make a point very clear that whether it's black or yellow or white, the fact of the matter is that the uncompetitive practices of monopoly capital has to be shunned by the ANC. And in the colonial character of the ANC, the area of the form, which is white in South Africa, should not be dismissed as non-existent, but how you formulate your conceptual framework on monopoly capital, you have to emphasize what you have been doing all along. The issue became when there's been matters where people accuse the ANC of being denialists on the colonial character of monopoly capital. And the fact that Bill Pottinger, helped the ANC. So this wonderful person gave thought to the ANC, an expression of white monopoly capital. So the ANC as a movement cannot think it on its own on conceptual issues. Somebody came in there, which was busted as a myth, basically because the movement's own phraseology over a period of time, if you take the road to South African freedom in 1962, it alludes to the fact of white monopoly capital. We made that example there. We made the example of O.R. Tambo in Morogoro on this very question. We made an example of the General Secretary of the Communist Party now in 2007 on the very issue of white monopoly capital. But what we tried to do was to sway people away from being bogged down on conceptual framework, leave the formulation to the people who formulate, but without being denialist on the colonial character of capital in South Africa, especially. That's the main issue of discussion. But generally, as I said, whether we're talking of the balance of forces domestically or globally, whether we're talking of the motive forces of the revolution, whether we're talking of the pillars of the revolution, there's been consensus, general understanding, and agreement in the structures of the ANC and branch delegates. Thanks, Zizi.